Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is Chelsea and this is ABCDExperiences. So the AB stands for my husband Andrew and the CD stands for me, Chelsea. And this channel, we like to showcase our Disney vacations. We are annual pass holders to Walt Disney World, so we go there quite a bit. And we also go to Disneyland once in a while, as well as different home vlogs, DIYs. I do theater, so there's sometimes some backstage content, as well as exploring Connecticut, because that's where we are based out of. So in today's vlog, I wanted to go over how to do some things to prep for your Disney vacation. So this trip, we did Walmart for groceries, and we also tried out something called weight magic. So something that myself and Andrew do, instead of like going out to dinner on the weekends or things like that, going on dates around here, we try to minimize that so we can save that extra money for going to Disney World. So like when we have a free weekend, that's when we try to book something. We both work the weekends quite often. We both work a lot. When we're not in Disney, we are both working a ton so that we can save money. Obviously, everyone can't do that, so most people just go like once a year or once in a lifetime, and that's totally valid, but that is just a question we are asked very often. Another way that we go to Disney very often is because we are annual pass holders. So with our annual pass, we do get a discount on select nights for some resorts. So sometimes that is a good deal, but then also Disney does their own deals, like 25 to 30% off, sometimes even more than that throughout the year. So look out for those. They also offer discounts to Disney Plus members. Sorry, I have a puppy on me. This is Flower, and Bambi's right next to me as well. So always keep an eye out for that, because there are always so many deals to go about. But usually we've found that our annual pass holder has been the best one. Also, after you book a Disney trip, you have 7 days what they call a save on your next stay moment. So that could be a better discount too. It all depends on where you want to stay. So as you can tell in the vlogs, most of the time we are staying at a moderate resort. So we usually pick the cheapest one, to be honest with you. So it's been Coronado Springs a ton, and French Quarter, which is where Andrew and I met, the Port Orleans French Quarter. So those are usually on the less expensive side. With some of the updates at French Quarter, it's getting a little bit higher, but we usually tend to stay at the cheapest moderate resort. Though since we are filming more content for our channel, and since our channel is growing, we're trying to stay at a different resort every time if we could, which brings us to our next point, which is staying at a value resort. So the first time we stayed at a value resort, we stayed at All Star Movies, and it wasn't the best experience for us. So we tried again, and we stayed at Pop Century, and we absolutely adored it there. We love Pop Century. It's great because it's on the Skyliner. It's usually less expensive. So Pop Century is a great option. All Star Movies wasn't bad. We might try it again because we stayed at All Star Sports. And although it was busy with cheer competitions and stuff, and there was like, I think a band and choir trip there, it was really nice because all of the rooms have been basically refurbished now. So if you're just going there to sleep and you're going to be at the parks a lot and just want a place that has like a quick bite to eat and no frills, then All Star Sports, Movies, or Music is the way to go. We haven't stayed at All Star Music yet, so maybe soon. But we usually pick either the cheapest, moderate, or one of the value resorts to stay at. All right, so my next question I get a lot is how we save money. Like, what do we choose to save money on, and what do we decide to splurge on? So I guess the resort is something that we have been saving for. We haven't really stayed deluxe. We're hoping to. So there's a bunch of summer and fall deals coming up. So we're hoping to do a deluxe soon. But we usually tend to save our money on the resort by going with the least expensive moderate resort or one of the value resorts. Everyone's different with what they want. I will say if you're focusing on the parks more, then choosing like a value or one of the moderate resorts is the way to go. But if you're looking to hang out at the resort, I mean, all the resorts have pools and are very nice, and you can totally do a resort day at any of them. But going with a deluxe, if you really want to hang out mostly at the resort, that's the way to go. Another way that we save money is going with quick service for most of our meals. So we both usually order a kids meal because it's a smaller portion. It comes with 2 sides. When we're in the sun a lot and walking around, like I'm not as hungry, I'm more of a snacker. So for us, ordering kids meals very often, they tend to be around $6 to $10, $11. And it usually comes with like a main meal, 2 small sides, and a small drink or a water or a juice or a milk. So for example, if you're just wanting to order like chicken tenders, it'll come with 2 chicken tenders instead of 4, then a side, which is usually a fruit or French fries or a veggie, and then you get 2 of those, and then a drink. So I usually do like a small water or a small fountain drink, and it's really great. The same was for the breakfast. So instead of 3 Mickey waffles, you get 2 Mickey waffles. So it really depends on how you want to go about that. For us, that normally works because sometimes I'll only eat 1 Mickey waffle, then Andrew will have 3 because I'm not much of a breakfast person first thing in the morning, and we're rope droppers, which means we like to get there nice and early. So that tends to work out for us. And then we also like to only do maybe 1 sit-down table service meal. So we're not doing a table service meal, which is like a sit-down restaurant meal, every meal that we're there or every single day that we're there. We're usually only picking like 1 special time to do that. We're not like big drinkers or anything, so we're saving money by not buying alcohol, which are like $20 a pop at Disney. So if that's what you want to do, I would budget separately for that if you want to like drink around the world or something. That's like a whole separate budget. We get groceries delivered usually, and we actually even did it for this trip because I was doing the math and it was a great deal to do that. So obviously it's very hot in Disney World and you need to drink lots of water. If you're someone who likes a reusable water bottle, there are water bottle fill-up stations everywhere, and every quick service will give you a cup of water for free. Even I think Starbucks still gives you a cup of water for free. There's also water stations because they want everyone hydrated, and that's no money spent for Disney. But for us, we don't really like the taste of the water. There's some places where it's better, like Starbucks. If they give you a cup for water at any of the quick service restaurants that have like the little soda machines, those ones are usually good. But what we do is in our grocery order, we get a case of water, a hand soap, because I don't like the little bars of soap. But now most of Disney's resorts have hand soap there for you in the little pump, which is amazing. I still got it this time, but our hotel room did have it. And the last couple times wherever we stayed, they had the hand soap. So I think it's pretty much everywhere now. So that's great news. So maybe I'll stop doing that. A big jug of iced coffee, which has saved us money because we're not buying, we like 1 to 3 coffees during our Disney day, just so that we're staying awake. So ordering a big jug of iced coffee and putting it in the beverage cooler. If it's a longer stay, I ordered 2 of them. And then we just get ice from the ice maker. That's usually down the hallway at every single resort. And then they have cups in the room for you. And we get the individual coffee creamers. There's only a beverage cooler, so I'm kind of freaked out about putting like a regular coffee creamer or milk in there. But if you don't want to do that, they leave in every single room now, like the little regular International Delight, the plain flavor, and sugar packets, Splenda, Equal, all of that. So you could save money there too if you just want to use that. But I'm a little bougie there, and I want the French vanilla or the hazelnut, which is like $3 for a small box. So still saving us money. And then sometimes I'll get like little toiletries that I don't want to pack, like makeup wipes or like I said, the hand soap, just little things like that that I don't want to pack that are like bulkier, or if I'm only using a carry-on, which is what we mostly do, that'll save us there. So this time our groceries, I think for water, the toiletries, the little soap, and I usually get like some sort of cleaning wipe if we're there longer. If not, I'll just take the mini pack or like a Lysol spray, or I'll pack the mini one, which I did this time. So it was like less than $20 for our groceries, including tip, which is great because if we bought multiple waters per day at like $5 a water, that's at least $30 a day. And for a 3-day trip, that's $90. So that's how we save a little bit there, by packing a water. And I bring snacks from home. That's another thing. I have a little snack bag and I'll pack some snacks. So if we're getting hungry, instead of getting like a Mickey pretzel for $7 or $8 each time, we just have like a little pack of pretzels or like little fruit snacks or chomps. Those are my favorite things to pack because they usually stay nice and good. They're not melting in our bag. It's a little bit healthier too. And then electrolyte packs. I always pack those too. Now I'm going to answer how the heck do you order groceries to your resort? So it's very simple. So if you're using something like Walmart, what you're going to do is put in the address of your resort. So we recently stayed at Caribbean Beach Resort. So I just Googled where that was. I chose the time to be about when we would land. So when we were on the plane, we were on a plane with Wi-Fi. I could chat with the shopper to see if anything wasn't available. And for delivery instructions, I said it's a business, building reception, leave everything. And I wrote, please leave with Bell Services with the name. I put our name there. Thank you so much. And that is how I did that. You could also do what I've done before, is a DoorDash order. So when we got stuck in Disney, me and my mom, we stayed a little bit longer. So at first we did a Walmart order to our original resort, which was the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And that was great. Same thing. I put leave with delivery services or leave with Bell Services, our delivery. And it was really funny because when we got there, our delivery driver was literally about to put our stuff with them. And I was like, oh, we're here. So we just grabbed them right before. And then when we had to stay for 3 extra days, we had run out of water by that time because there was one more friend with us. So I had only gotten like a smaller pack. So we ended up doing a DoorDash of another hand soap, I think, and a case of water. And then I think like cough drops. So we just did Walgreens DoorDash order, and they just met us right in the lobby. So if you're uncomfortable like leaving stuff, or you're nervous that you're not able to chat with your shopper, when you're in your Uber or Lyft or the Mears Connect back to your resort from the airport, you can totally just like submit your DoorDash order from a nearby, whatever is nearby to your resort, like a Walgreens, a Kroger, whatever, or Publix even better, and just have them meet you in the lobby, and then you can just bring your own stuff to your room. This is kind of sometimes a thing and sometimes not a thing. We had it be a thing this last trip. So if you aren't physically checked into the hotel as your groceries are delivered, but you are a hotel guest, you may be charged a $6 fee. And this is where it gets complicated a little bit. So the $6 fee is because they're accepting the groceries for you, which is great. At a Disney resort, they're able to refrigerate stuff for you if you have some like milk or some berries or anything cold like that. They're able to refrigerate it for you. So that's why I love using Bell Services at Disney compared to like the Hilton or the Drury because they're not able to do that for you. Things may vary. You might have to call and confirm that you need the things chilled, or tell your driver, please tell them to chill this for me. But there is sometimes a $6 fee for them holding it in Bell Services. But this is where it gets confusing, because some people report that it's $6 for them accepting the groceries for you, which I've never had that be the case. But here's where we had it be the case. We called them from our room and we said, hey, we're in blah, blah, blah room. Can you please bring us the groceries? And they said to me on the phone, yes, but that's going to be $6 because we accepted them for you and we're bringing them to you. And I was like, of course, that's fine. So then I handed them $10 when they came to the room. So I was like, okay, I think this will cover like a tip too. Wasn't too much. But the $6 had already been taken out of our account, which is totally fine. We just didn't know that. So I just wanted you guys to be aware, whatever card is on file for your trip, you might be charged $6 if Bell Services is handling your groceries in any way. So like I said, I'm not really sure if that's because they brought it to our room, which is what I'm assuming, because that makes sense. They had to come all the way to our room and they were delivering them to us, which could be a case with your luggage as well. So if you don't want to pay an extra $6, have your delivery driver meet you at your room and bring your own bags to your room. But if you're okay with that $6, that's like nothing nowadays, then have them bring it up for you. It was actually really convenient that they brought it up for us. If you stay at Caribbean Beach, there is no elevator and we were on the second floor. So we had already been dropped off just in our Jamaica section. So we would have had to walk all the way to the main building. So it was really nice that they just brought them for us. So what we splurged on was the $6 for them the convenience of them bringing our groceries to our room for us. Okay, the other thing that we usually splurge on is lightning lanes. So lightning lanes are basically the skip the line, but there's still a line because there's the line of the other lightning lane people. So it just makes your wait time a little bit shorter. For us, that is usually worth it since we are only visiting the parks for like 2 to 3 days per trip. And we are ride people. We want to go on certain rides. We don't always do the lightning lane, but if we do, it's like on one specific day. So lightning lanes, you can book 7 days before your trip. You're gonna wake up a little bit before 7 a.m., about exactly 7 days before your trip, and you're gonna go on the My Disney Experience app and you're gonna select the park you want and what rides you want, and you have to do it right at 7 a.m. Everyone's on their phone doing it. Okay, so I'm gonna go over each park to make it a little simple. So Lightning Lane Multipass, you purchase 7 days in advance of your trip. So you're gonna go on the My Disney Experience app and you're gonna choose up to 3 lightning experiences for your party. So you're gonna pick one from the tier 1s, which include Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We chose Big Thunder because it had just been recently refurbished and we hadn't ridden it yet. So that was our first choice. And then you select 3 from the kind of filler attractions, the not as exciting ones, but still really fun rides, which are the Barnstormer, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Philhar Magic, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Under the Sea, The Journey of the Little Mermaid. So we chose Big Thunder, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, which also recently had a refurbishment. And what was the other one? Oh, Pirates we picked. So we picked those in advance for Magic Kingdom. And then we also did for this trip Epcot. And Epcot's current lightning lanes are Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Test Track. And then the filler or the tier 2 rides are the Pixar and Disney Short Film Festival, Figment, Living with the Land, Mission Space, Nemo and Friends, Soaring Across America, Spaceship Earth, and Turtle Talk. So we picked Test Track, Living with the Land, and Soaring Across America because it was opening day for that. So we got all those lightning lanes and it was great. And the lightning lanes range from about, I've seen it anywhere from like $16 to $36. That is obviously subject to change, but that's just what I've seen on it. And then let me, while I'm here, sorry Flower, let me read the other lightning lanes for the other parks, which we didn't use this time, but we have used before. Hollywood Studios, the tier 1s are Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, and Slinky Dog Dash. And the tier 2 rides are Alien Swirling Saucers, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live, For the First Time in Forever, a Frozen Sing-Along, Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, A Little Mermaid, a Musical Adventure, Star Tours, Toy Story Mania, and Twilight Zone. So those ones are for Hollywood Studios, and now let me read you the lightning lanes for Animal Kingdom. The lightning lanes are, there isn't a tier 1 or tier 2, they're just all together. Expedition Everest, Feather Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond Show, Cali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safaris, Navi River Journey, and Zootopia Better Together Show. So I've noticed that Animal Kingdom is usually cheaper. So a little hack is if you want to wake up early and make your Animal Kingdom lightning lanes for the morning, once you've scanned into Animal Kingdom, if you have either an annual pass or a park hopper ticket, you can use your lightning lanes for other parks. So if you're done with your 3 experiences at Animal Kingdom with your multi-pass, you can switch parks and use the lightning lanes for other parks. Of course, if it's a busier day, not all the rides might be available, which is where I'm going to bring in my next point. But it usually works out for us. Like, for example, we were just at Epcot for our final day and we left a little bit early, and we were able to get on 3 rides at Hollywood Studios in like no time. So there's multi-pass and then there's single pass. So multi-pass is for these rides that I just mentioned, and then there is single pass. So the single pass rides at Magic Kingdom are for Tron Light Cycle Run and for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So we did buy it for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train this time because I just really wanted to ride it. We don't always do that. Usually if we wait in line for it, I've noticed the line isn't as bad as it says. So we either go on that first thing in the morning or during the fireworks, and it isn't bad at all. Tron isn't my favorite ride. We've paid for it before. I think I've only been on it once or twice. Andrew's been on it more than me. It is a very quick, like, minute and a half. It's a minute and a half ride. So purchase a lightning lane for it if you don't want to wait. But honestly, the wait, even on Memorial Day when we were there, I think it was only like 35 minutes at one point, which isn't bad at all. The single pass for Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage, which we sometimes do that as well. But if you do it first thing in the morning or last thing at the end of the day, it usually isn't that bad of a wait, but it is a longer ride. It's a 4.5 minute ride, so it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Okay, the single pass at Hollywood Studios is, of course, Rise of the Resistance. And when we went with Andrew's family this past time, we paid for it. And then I think the first time that I rode it with my mom, we paid for it. It was cheaper then. It was like $12, I think. Now it's like, I think we paid $25 when we went with Andrew's family, but because they'd never ridden it and it was like a once, like they don't go that often, we definitely paid for it. So that was super expensive, but it's also a longer experience ride too. So that's where we kind of splurge by doing that. For Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy is the single pass there. So you would have to pay a single pass price, which is separate from your multi-pass. All right, the part of the video where you were probably waiting for is Weight Magic. So this is not sponsored in any way. We don't have any sponsorships with them or anything. I saw this on some other vlogs, like people had mentioned that they used it, but I didn't really know anything. I was like, oh, they're just using Weight Magic. I've heard that and Stand by Skipper. So we decided to try out Weight Magic for this trip. I had no expectation what to think. I did this super duper last minute. So we first booked our lightning lane 7 days in advance. And then I was just sitting, like, I think it was like the day or two before we left for our vacation. And I was like, oh yeah, there's this thing called Weight Magic that can get us earlier times. Because the times of our lightning lanes were kind of later in the afternoon, later in the evening, which I knew because we're rope droppers and like to be there early. By like the 4 or 5 o'clock mark, we're ready to get out of the parks and go to dinner and then maybe go back into a park later or go to another resort, kind of relax. That's just how we like to do Disney because we're always like go, go, go. Weight Magic, it's thrill-data.com/weightmagic. I will put it in the description down below. And like I already said, this isn't sponsored at all. This is just like my experience with it, basically. Thrill Data Daily is $25 for 2 days. So at first I did that and it was before our 2 days of our trip started because we were only doing like 2 basically full days in the park. The day that we got there, we didn't do Lightning Lane. We did it the full day that we were at Magic Kingdom and then the next day for the morning of Epcot. So that's what I thought I was supposed to click. That was wrong. I ended up upgrading it for Thrill Data Plus Weekly, which is $30 a week. So it cost me $5 more, which the nice part about that was I only had to pay $5. I didn't have to pay an additional $30 on top of the $25, if that's making sense. Because I bought it 2 days before we left, so it started right away. And it says that, it says it starts immediately, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just being very impulsive. So it was already starting to modify my lightning lanes for me. So I ended up paying the $5 extra so that we would have it during our trip. For the month, it costs $45, and for the year, it costs $75. I am honestly thinking of next time we go to Disney World, upgrading to the year membership because I think it's worth it. I will say that if you're using Lightning Lane, I definitely think it is worth it to use Weight Magic. The thing that I loved about it was doing the work for us, so I wasn't glued to my phone the whole time, which is kind of how I feel with this Lightning Lane system, is you're always like looking for the next thing on your phone. The first thing that I had to do was I had to connect my party on the app. So it's not an app, it's a website. If I say app, I'm meaning website, sorry. So they have a My Disney Experience thing, and it's gonna link you to someone that works with Thrill Data, I guess. And for us, I don't know if this is the same for everyone, if this is just a robot or this is the founder of the company, but it was Cynthia Gardner. So it connected her to our My Disney Experience app, which kind of scared me, to be honest, because I was like, now I have a random person on my account. Is that okay? It was fine for us, but if that's something that's going to make you uncomfortable, then maybe I wouldn't use the service. But for us, I saw that other people had used it multiple times. I looked up reviews after this, right when I saw that, and it was fine. So then I added myself and Andrew to my current party. I linked it together. Basically, when you go into the My Disney Experience app, it'll give you a special code, and you're gonna put that guest link code into the website. So I did that for myself, and then I had to do it as well for Andrew, and it connected us as a friend of Cynthia Gardner on our friends and family link. So that was fine. And then see all of our lightning lanes on the website and pick what I wanted. So because I had already booked my lightning lanes, I did it for modify my bookings, and I picked the earliest time available. So basically what it did then was if an earlier time came up, it automatically booked it for me. And you can either pick for like if you're night owls and have all like morning stuff, you can pick, please change it to a later booking. You can pick the set hours. You can say, I want a time between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. or 10 a.m. and 12 a.m. whenever the park closes, whatever you want basically. So I picked earliest time available because that's how we like to do Disney, earliest time available. So then once I did that, the next couple of days, once I had purchased Wait Magic, I got a text immediately. I got a text, I think it was actually that day, well that night, that our Big Thunder Mountain, which I had first booked for, I guess, 5:15 p.m. was the earliest at my 7 a.m. 7 days before. 5:15 p.m. for Big Thunder Mountain. So I said, please select the earliest time available. It automatically booked me for 5 p.m. So 15 minutes earlier, not too bad. Better than nothing. And then the next morning, I was at 11:15 a.m. I got a text that our Lightning Lane for Pirates was modified from 11:15 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. So that was great because now that was earlier for us. And then a couple hours later, I got a notification that our Soarin' Across America Lightning Lane that was for 12:45 p.m. was moved to 10:25 a.m. Okay, so after we got the text about our Pirates Lightning Lane going from 10:20 to 10:10, 2 days later, I got another text, which this was the day that we were arriving, that our Lightning Lane for Pirates was moved from 10:10 to 9:50 a.m. So that was great. And then I didn't hear anything else for the rest of that day. But seeing as it was Memorial Day, to have our Lightning Lanes moved down like up to the day before was really, really amazing and worth it to me. All right, then it brought us to Monday, which was the day we were in Magic Kingdom. And in the middle of the night, so when I woke up the next day, I saw that our Big Thunder Mountain, which was originally pushed from 5:15 from Wait Magic to 5 p.m., was pushed down to 2:10 p.m. So that was amazing news for us because we wanted to be able to utilize more Lightning Lanes that day. So to have it moved down from 5 o'clock to 2:10 p.m. was absolutely amazing, and we loved that. Okay, once we were in the park, we ended up rope dropping Buzz Lightyear. So we were like, we ended up going on it twice during rope drop, which was amazing. So if you're able to do early entry or even just rope drop, that is literally the best time to be in the park and go on rides, in my humble opinion. Even on a holiday, we got to immediately walk on Buzz Lightyear, not once, but twice in a row, right at opening. And it wasn't even right at opening, it was like a few minutes after. So we weren't even like running to it, we were just leisurely walking. We were like, oh yeah, Buzz Lightyear. It's a walk on right now, let's go on it. And then we got off and we were like, oh, let's go on it again. So highly recommend that. So we ended up changing it from Buzz Lightyear to Haunted Mansion. And Haunted Mansion, like I said, Memorial Day, very busy day. 4:40 p.m. was the Lightning Lane that was given to us. And we were like, okay, no worries. And then it modified it like a second later to 3:55 p.m., which was much better because we had all our other Lightning Lanes stacked up for the afternoon. So right after that, we could go on Haunted Mansion. So that was great. And then I also got a text a few minutes later that our Lightning Lane for the next day for Test Track that we had originally booked for 1:50 p.m., which wasn't our favorite because that was probably going to be the last thing we were going to do before we had to leave for the airport. It was moved to 11:20, which was perfect. After that, after you select your Lightning Lanes, it's either 90 minutes or after you check into one with your little magic band or your phone, after you check into the Lightning Lane, you are able to book another Lightning Lane, whichever comes first. So that's how more rides are now stacking up and popping up. So we booked Tiana's for our next ride at about 11:30 in the morning. So Tiana's was originally booked for 6:05 p.m., which was kind of late. it moved it to 5:40. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it, like a second later, it moved it to 1:30, which was perfect because that was right around the time our Big Thunder Mountain and Lightning Lane was, and they're right next to each other in the parks. So that was great. In the meantime, we booked a Peter Pan's flight because we had already went on those couple rides in the morning. So if you know Disney World, Peter Pan's flight is always a long wait because it's a slower queue because it's an older ride. It's one of my absolute favorite rides. I always need to go on it when I go to Disney World, and if I don't, I get really sad. So there was a Lightning Lane that showed up for 4:45 p.m. and I was shocked because usually like Peter Pan's flight is wiped out of Lightning Lanes if you don't book it that day, like the 7 days in advance. So that was great for 4:45 p.m. And then all of a sudden we got a text that it was modified to 12:15 p.m. Even better. If this is stressing you out, your Lightning Lane's getting earlier and earlier and you just want a more leisurely day, once you get them, you can select Wait Magic to stop. I kept it on because I kind of liked that it kept being earlier because we were just basically doing nothing at this point. And then we had like boom, 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 rides to go on. So then our Tiana's was moved to 1:20 and then our Haunted Mansion was moved to 1:45 p.m. from 3:10 p.m. So if you want to watch the order that we did, we actually did a little bit of walking around because at first we were walking over to Tiana's in Big Thunder and we were going to like leisurely walk, go through the stores over there, maybe do Country Bears Jamboree, maybe do Magic Carpets because that's usually like a walk on, or go in those little stores over there. But then we immediately turned around and we were like, I have an idea. Since you have an hour return time, we were like, let's go do Peter Pan's flight first. Then we'll do Haunted Mansion. And then by the time we do both of those, and I think we might have done Small World in there randomly too. I don't remember. You'll have to watch the video, which I can link down below, of all of our adventures and experiences in Disney World for this very short amount of time, which we did so much. We also tried to get Winnie the Pooh, but at that point, like 8:50 to 9:50, and that was really late for us. It did push it down to 8:45 p.m. Then it did push it to 8:20, then 8:15, then 7:55. But we decided to cancel that. We were like, I think we're gonna be out of here having dinner at that point. We were like, maybe we will go on bus again. We had fun, but it was the same thing. It was booked for 8:15 p.m. So then I canceled it, but then I forgot to say stop booking it because then when we were on the bus leaving, it was like 5 o'clock at night. It was like, you now have a return time for 9:20 to 10 o'clock p.m. for Buzz Lightyear. And I was like, no, we don't want that. So I canceled that. So hopefully someone else picked those up. That night, I got a text when I think we were probably already sleeping, or we were in bed at this point. We were definitely sleeping. It was 10:59 p.m. that our Lightning Lane for Living with the Land was modified to 9:20 from 9:25. So only 5 minutes, but I mean, that was great. Epcot was very busy, so Wait Magic didn't modify or get us any more Epcot Lightning Lanes for the major rides that we wanted. So like I said, you get to pick 3 of like the major amazing rides. So that's either Remy, Test Track, or Frozen. We decided to go with Test Track because it is the new version that just opened, I think like a few months ago now. So then I was like, maybe we'll have Wait Magic look for a Remy's and a Frozen for later once we scanned into Living with the Land in Soarin'. It did end up getting us a Remy's, but it wasn't until 7:45 p.m., which was exactly when our flight was leaving. So that didn't work out, so I ended up canceling that. And we ended up park hopping over to Hollywood Studios via the Skyliner before we went back to our resort to check out and get our bags and everything. You can also see that in the vlog. So we were like, let's just see if they can book us anything for Hollywood Studios. So I picked the rides that are our favorites at Hollywood Studios, which are Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Toy Story Mania, and Slinky Dog Dash. So we got on the Skyliner and I had said, please book these and keep booking for the earliest time available, keep refreshing, whatever they have to do. So we're sitting on the Skyliner and I get like 3 texts in a row. It said a lightning lane was booked for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway with a return time of 8:25 p.m. to 9:25 p.m. Obviously, we would be in the plane for that, so that wouldn't work. But then I had 2 texts that came right after that for a lightning lane was booked for Toy Story Mania with a return time of 2:20 p.m. to 3:20 p.m. That was perfect. We were about to arrive literally at that time. So there was nothing at first on the My Disney Experience app, but when I did Wait Magic, all of these things popped up. So that was great. And then all of a sudden it said a lightning lane was modified for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway with a return time of 3:15 to 4:15 p.m. from 8:25 p.m. So that was amazing. So when we got there, we went right to Toy Story Mania. We got to ride that. Then we went straight to Mickey and Minnie's. We rode that. And then we still had a few minutes before we had to leave. So I think actually before that we checked out it was opening day of the Muppets roller coaster. So we went and checked out the store over there even before Lightning Lanes started. Then we went on Toy Story, then Mickey and Minnie's. Watch the vlog to see, because I clearly don't remember what we did. And then Star Tours, which is normally like a walk-on or a very short wait. I was like, we might as well use our multi-pass for that. So I just selected it on the app so we could go through the Lightning Lane. I was like, we need to get our money's worth. So we went on Star Tours after that, and that was the last ride that we went on before we had to head home via the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach. So Wait Magic, I would say, was definitely worth it. Honestly, even based on the fact that we were just park hopping to Hollywood Studios, honestly, just for the vibes before we had to leave, just like to get in a little bit more Disney magic, a little bit more park time before we had to get on our plane. But the fact that we were able to get like 2 rides that are kind of harder to get and it just immediately booked them for us makes me feel like Wait Magic is definitely worth it. I'm thinking about doing the year one because I think like $30 compared to $75 if you go as often as we do and like to utilize the Lightning Lanes. And that is per party. So like Andrew didn't have to pay a separate amount. It put us in the same party. So if you have, I think parties up to 20 guests can be created. So, I mean, that's definitely worth it. So Thrill Data also has dining alerts and other stuff like that. It says dining alerts and more. So honestly, I might look into that too. Definitely was worth the extra money for us by saving in a couple other ways, like getting the groceries delivered and then using that $30 that we would have spent on like just water for one day for the 2 of us. So I hope this video was helpful. I know I tend to ramble and go off on some little tangents here and there, but I hope that's why you like our channel. And if you can, please like and subscribe this video because it helps us make more. And if you have any questions or clarifications about using Wait Magic, ordering groceries, or anything else about Disney, please leave it in the comments below and I will be happy to answer that for you. And one of the biggest things that we've learned from visiting Disney so often is just decide what's most important to you and then build your budget around those priorities. It's kind of always different for us, but these are the things that we do kind of consistently. But we might do like a deluxe resort soon so we can talk about those in the future and let me know what you guys would like to see in the future as well. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next experience. Bye!